So I just finished watching the video about professionals, amateurs, and hacks. And the prompt is, in your field, who are the glorious amateurs, those who brought their voice unedited to a vast and adoring public? Who are the successful professionals, and what about the hacks? And list one for each and tell us about them. So in coaching, and I'm saying coaching and the thought is usually about athletics, but I'm also going to talk about esports because it's actually extremely clear who the hacks, amateurs, and professionals are. So the hacks in esports were, in the old days, the coaches who signed up to be a coach just so they could get free stuff. Like a Gears of War event for Major League Gaming, they would sign up so that way they had the badge to get free Red Bull and snacks, or they got to be in a VIP area because they were a coach. Or it was cheaper; they didn't have to pay for a pass to be a spectator. They could just stand behind a team, and then their team would lose in open bracket really early. An amateur, and I consider myself an amateur. An amateur would be someone who might be extremely interested. They might listen to the community and follow what's going on, but they're not signed by a team. They don't make too big of an impact, and it's definitely, they're not making anything from it. They're not making any money, right? Their level of involvement is too low, or their interest or expertise and value that they provide really isn't up to snuff. Now, when I think of esports coaches who are professionals, in my mind, I'm thinking of someone like Zabatine. I'm thinking of someone like now Papa Smithy for 100 Thieves. I'm thinking of someone like Ashes. He was the Gears of War coach for Optic Gaming and then Energy, and now they're on their own right now. But that is the most successful Gears of War team, is that five-sum, and then Ashes is the coach. I think of Bravo when he was the coach of Triggers Down in Halo 3. I think of even Diesel when he was coaching Ambush. I think of Towie when he was coaching Instinct and then all the other teams that he coached. Envy and some of the others. And the reason that those coaches, those esport coaches, were professionals is that they didn't just know the game. They didn't just know their players. They didn't just set up practice right. They didn't just know strats. They didn't just know the community. They didn't just know how to make a video. They didn't just know how to play or shoot straight. They didn't know how to just go over film. They pulled everything out of those teams that they could, right? It's more than just being a coach with a clipboard and a timer to time power-ups. Mr. X was a fantastic coach for the Complexity, Evil Genius Dynasty, and Call of Duty. Why? Because he knew exactly what buttons to press on Aches, on TP, on Crim6 and Clayster and Karma. Mr. X was a brilliant coach, and he knew the game. When I look at TP is a good coach, but he's a better analyst, and so that's why Optic didn't work. He didn't work for Optic. He had a 20-page playbook for Search and Destroy. His players didn't give a fuck. They didn't care. And so, esports is there's a very clear delineation between hack, amateur, and professional. The other place that it's also very clear is Twitter for athletics, because you will see your amateurs, your hacks, and your professionals. Your amateurs on Twitter are someone who I'm thinking of like a middle school or high school coach, and not saying that those can't be good coaches, but just that their way of thinking about things is, this is the way we've always done things, or their knowledge of the sport is limited, or their toolbox of techniques and knowledge and interest and investment and research is limited. They don't have the resources. They're going to keep doing what they're doing because it may have worked when they were an athlete. Or it's worked in the past, so they're going to try it again. So there's a shortcoming. When I think of the hacks of Twitter and coaching, it is someone who's just trying to sell their $15 ebook. They're trying to sell their $50 course. They're trying to make a quick buck because they have just enough knowledge to be considered an expert, but not really enough to go deeper than that, or to deliver every time, or to deliver generously, right? I've consumed and purchased a ton of coaching material. I can say probably the first time I bought something for coaching was like my freshman year of high school. So we're looking now at 11 years of coaching material. I've spent thousands of dollars on coaching material, and this course is another example of them where I just routinely am investing in my own education. And so it's quite clear when there are professional coaches, because they will spot the hack a mile away and go, "You're spewing bullshit. You don't know what you're talking about. This doesn't work all the time. It's overgeneralized. It's too vague. It's not specific. Where's the generosity? Where's showing that you really care about the person you're selling this to? Stop trying to push your fit tee that doesn't work. Stop trying to push a 6-minute abs workout that doesn't work. If you want to cause real change, it's going to take more than a cookie cutter program. And the ebook is a cookie cutter program. It's good for nobody, but everybody can do it." And so when I look at what I've produced in the past as far as content goes, I had great ideas as far as running and injury prevention. But it was closer to being an amateur than it was being a professional, because I didn't deliver every day. I didn't show up. I won a competition, but it died after that, right? The dream wasn't there. The investment wasn't there. I may think about running every day and how to get faster or how to improve something or self-development, but that idea died the second I thought I need to code this myself. The second I didn't think to involve somebody else or build a team around it, that idea was dead. So who are the successful professionals? Lateef Thomas is one of the best high school coaches for track and field. Tony Holler is one of the best high school coaches for track and field. Chris Corfus is one of the best coaches for high school track and field. The head coach at Jesuit down in Texas is one of the best coaches in high school track and field. The guy out of California, Baylor, I can't remember his name, and I follow him on Twitter, I'm so sorry. He's running a terrific program out there. The high school that Christian McCaffrey was at, and then Cool Up Performance, he is a great coach. Those are all professionals. They have an exact reason for why they're doing what they're doing. When they are asked a question of why are you doing this, they don't just have an answer. They have a whole system. There is a blueprint that they're following, and they have found it through error, through their own personal research, through experience. This is why they're doing what they're doing. And so when I look at, sometimes there are even college and professional coaches who are closer to an amateur. They're just a paid amateur. Their level of involvement or investment is not what I would consider up to snuff. They don't care enough. It's just a job. And that's heartbreaking, because there's middle school and high school coaches who could be professionals but are looked down upon because of their the level of competition that they're coaching at. And so that's my experience as far as the delineation between the hack, the amateur, and the professional. And so let me say, as an amateur, here's why I haven't gone into the realm of the hack. I follow Twitter money people. The people are really in they think about online business in different ways. Ed Lattimore, Jose Rosardo, Nate Schmidt, that kind of camp. Chris Johnson. I haven't fallen into their trap to make a $17 ebook, because I don't think that's lasting change. I don't think it's changing behavior. I don't think it's changing culture. I obviously know a ton on how to not really prevent injuries, but how to rehab from injuries. I have theories on how to prevent injury. But I'm not going to sell something that's $17 to stop shin splints, because there's already a group for that. There's already a Rick Casselge out there who's making exercises for injuries, right? I don't need to be another one of those. Instead, what I need to be is, okay, here's the research. Here's what I think about it. Here's how you can use it. And that clear path from content to claim to commentary to reference, I can do that really, really well. Because I know where and what to look at. I can form a very clear opinion on it. But the most value is going to be the commentary. So how do you apply it? At something, because here's a good example. I wrote about gelatin and vitamin C enrichment or supplementation for tendon injury recovery, right? Soft tissue injuries. I wrote about that in one of my dailies. And a couple days ago, another follow-up research study came up, and they said, oh, doesn't work. And I was looking at the replies on Twitter because I knew they missed a step. It's not just about slugging Jello and vitamin C back. It's about the load. They didn't introduce a stress to the system. They didn't do their homework. They didn't read the full study. They didn't pay attention. They didn't apply it. And so a lot of people will do this. They will look at a tweet. They'll look at content. They will make a claim about it, and they'll have the reference, right? So it's basically just they look on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and they're going to retweet stuff. Reddit's this way, right? But how much are they actually doing with it? Are they actually going out and trying it and applying it? When I watch a video from Brett Contreras on glute activation, and he's showing frog hip thrusts, I will lay on the ground and actually try it and see, oh, you know what? This does activate my glutes pretty darn good, right? I am now sore or cramping. When I saw, if I get a newsletter for RPR, Reflexive Performance Reset, and they say, hey, you know what? Turns out the quad reset drill doesn't work unless you also hit this, certain part of your calf. I'm sitting at work in my office hitting the calf and then hitting the next spot to see if it works. Guess what? It does. I am unashamed to immediately stop whatever I'm doing and try something out. Because I want to see if it's going to work. I'm actually going to do it. Most people read something and go, that's neat, and that's it. They consume content, but they don't create or they don't try. For me, my specialty is the try, to see if it works. They start all the way back with barefoot running and minimalist shoes, right? Vibram 5 Fingers 11 years ago when I got my first pair, trying to find some Nike Frees and couldn't, to now, where I don't just see the text for the Creatives Workshop, but I then actually go, I'm going to sign up. I'm going to commit. I'm going to write for 100 days. I don't think everybody can do that, and that's why I think I'm on the path from amateur to professional more than amateur to hack. So, thank you.